Welcome to the Let's Get Vulnerable podcast. It's your host, Dr. Morgan, and today's episode kicks off a 3-part series. This series is called Make 2025 Your Secure Year. This is going to be about everything that you need to do in order to shift so that you can become that securely attached version of you. I saw something the other day. I was on Instagram and it was said something like, we are no longer going to just say what we're becoming. We're not becoming this. It's time to be it. And I really appreciate that mindset shift because I think so often we go, oh, it'll happen when it's far away. Like, yes, I'll get there eventually. I'm just becoming XYZ. It's time to be securely attached, to actually make that shift, embody it, so that it's no longer this distant thing that's just happening in the future, right? And obviously, if you want help with that, we have the Empowered.Secure.Loved relationship program. We have a few spots left in December. We've had incredible women joining this month. And all I can say is this program is life-changing. We've helped so many people fully heal from their past relational trauma and become that version of them that then easily attracts a healthy, loving, secure relationship. So if 2025 is the year that you stop wasting your time on relationships that go nowhere, this is the year where you attract your person. I want to invite you to apply to the program today. Just go use the link in the show notes to apply. Today's episode, we are getting into mindset and identity. These are key pieces to becoming securely attached. Identity doesn't get talked about enough because I think we all just sort of go like, oh, well, yeah, you are who you are. But this whole idea that we actually have the power to change our identity, to be that person that we want to be. We all have that power. Our thoughts are so powerful. Our beliefs about ourselves are so powerful. You can truly step into the version of you that you want to be. And for those of you who are listening to the show, I know that that also includes becoming securely attached and embodying secure attachment. So I want to talk about who is the securely attached woman or man, if you're a man listening. Who is that person? There's 3 key things I wanted to focus on in today's episode. Number 1, you have to have in your bones this feeling that you are enough. Not only that you are enough, but that you are more than enough. That you know that there is nothing wrong with you. That you, just the way you are one of one. You are one of one. I want to let that sink in. There is no one quite like you on this planet. You are more than enough as you are. And what happens here is having this high self-worth, accepting ourselves, it's also freeing us up to see other people that way. I think sometimes if you're healing from people pleasing or you've chronically devalued yourself, when you start to say, yeah, I'm more than enough. I'm incredible the way I am. There's only one of me. Sometimes your brain goes, oh my gosh, am I sounding egotistical? Am I sounding selfish? Whatever, right? You have this idea in your head. But I just want you to know that actually, when you accept your enoughness and your worthiness, you are simultaneously accepting it in others. You are saying, I am enough and you are enough, right? I am unique the way I am. You are unique the way you are. There's only one of me. There's only one of you. We are accepting as a whole that we are all enough as we are. Okay. And this is where we have to make this shift in order to know that our worth is not tied to our external results. This is huge when you're attracting your person. How many of us find ourselves in the dating world attaching our worth to whether or not somebody's texting us, or if they're asking us out on that second date and we're going, oh my gosh, there must be something wrong with me, right? Why didn't they call me when they said they would? Did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? We can get so caught up in attaching our worth to our dating results that this completely throws off you embodying that securely attached version of you. So part of this whole shift is realizing that another person's actions, how someone else is showing up in your relationship or showing up in your dating life, that does not determine your worth. You are worthy no matter what. You are more than enough just the way that you are, right? And this is really fascinating because so many of us, when we're approaching dating, when we've had past relational trauma, maybe you're like me, you grew up with childhood trauma, or maybe there was relational trauma you experienced in your early dating life, wherever it came from, you probably unconsciously started to believe that there was something wrong with you and that you weren't worthy of love and that you had to change yourself in order to be loved. So a lot of us unconsciously, our primary question that we have in our lives as we're building relationships and just day to day showing up, we have this question. It's unconscious, of course, but it's this: what do I need to do in order to be loved? Unconsciously, so many of us have it wired. We have to show up differently. We have to do something differently. We have to be a certain way in order to be loved. We have this unconscious belief that we're not enough and that in order to be loved, we have to change. So, of course, at your core, you need to start embodying and believing and fully accepting you are worthy of love just the way you are. There's nothing that you have to do differently. You don't have to show up a certain way. You are whole and you are worthy of love simply by being yourself. So if you are listening to this and you're working on this, one of the core beliefs you need is, I am more than enough. I am worthy of love just the way I am, right? You have to get to this. And for those of you listening where you go, Dr. Morgan, it's not as easy as you're saying. You're right. I will fully agree. Part of doing this work, it's not just saying the affirmations or coming up with the new beliefs. Part of it is revisiting your past trauma and really intentionally examining the trauma that occurred and being able to see it from your highest and best adult securely attached self, and then being able to intentionally let it go. So I just want to, for those of you who are like, but Dr. Morgan, I can't just say the affirmations. You're right. I'm not going to be one of those BS guru people who are going to tell you, just scream, I am enough 10 times a day and everything's going to change. No, there is internal work that has to be done, which obviously is why I have the program that I have. If it was as easy as saying affirmations, you guys, wouldn't that be nice? Oh my goodness, that would be nice. That's not how it works. But anyways, always at the core, I know I was talking about this in one of the recent episodes as well. You have to know you are enough as you are. You are so worthy of love. And you have to get to this place where you go, I don't have to do anything differently. My only job is to show up as me. Not that you don't have to do anything differently. That's not what I mean. But you don't have to try to be someone who you are not. You don't have to try to change yourself. Your job is to show up as you. You are most attractive when you are authentically yourself. And when you show up as authentically you, that's how you bring in the people who are meant for you. That's how you know, oh, I'm showing up fully myself and I'm attracting this person, right? And by you being authentically yourself, you're encouraging that in others. And that's how you end up with that person where you're best friends, you are meant to be together. It is so easy. My fiance and I were talking last night about just how easy our relationship is and how we really truly are each other's best friends, and we laugh all the time and we giggle and we have so much fun together. And It's easy. And he actually said something to me that made me kind of sad. I get a little emotional thinking about this. He said, because he's doing his own journey, you guys, um, going to therapy, all the things. I'm so proud of him. But he said to me, I am the most myself when I'm in your presence. And I can't wait for the day when I can show up this way around more people in my life. And I just think that that is the best compliment that you can get, is that someone says, wow, I am my most authentic self when I'm with you. And I can tell you that the same is true when I'm with him. I feel that same way. And that's because we had done enough work, we've healed enough that when we got together, we knew how to approach our relationship as our authentic selves. So, anyways, remember, you are enough as you are. You don't have to be someone you're not in order to be loved. This is a huge mindset shift in order for you to become securely attached. Okay, moving on. What is the second mindset shift? This one's huge, and I could probably talk for hours about this, but I'm going to sum it up. I'm going to make it short. You have to learn to trust yourself. And I'm going to expand on this because this gets thrown around a lot, and I don't think we even know what it means. By trusting yourself, you have to say, wow, I am in tune with my emotions. I am emotionally available to myself. I know that I can self-soothe. I can emotionally regulate. I can speak my needs. I can set boundaries. I trust myself, whatever is coming up in the relationship that I'm in, relationships, all relationships. I trust myself that I have my back. I can advocate for myself and I can keep myself emotionally safe. I think about it this way. If you were deep diving in the ocean and someone said, okay, you got to dive in, you had no air tank, no scuba gear, and they're just like, yeah, you just got to dive in and just do it. How would you feel? Okay. You would not feel equipped to dive to the depths of the ocean. Side note, I hate scuba diving. I won't ever do it because I watched some episode of like Snapped where this woman and her husband went on their honeymoon and he just unhooked her air at the bottom of the ocean. And I don't know why. I was really young. I think I was way too young when I watched the episode. But ever since seeing that, I just went, nope, scuba diving's not for me. Anyways, back on track, right? So if you trust yourself in this metaphor, if you have the scuba gear, if you've had the training, if you've been in the baby pool, the 3-foot pool, and you've successfully learned how to dive, and you have someone with you where you trust them, etc., right? You feel prepared. You're like, let's go. Let's dive into the ocean because you trust yourself. Without trusting yourself, getting into relationships and opening up and being vulnerable and allowing intimacy in your life, it can feel like trying to dive in the ocean without scuba gear. Okay. We have to have the self-trust built that supports us in being vulnerable and opening up. This is why I got asked this question the other day on an interview on someone else's podcast. They were asking me, what do you think is better, to become securely attached before a relationship or to become securely attached while you're in a relationship? And I said, hands down, before. If you can do it, if you can work on yourself, become securely attached, work on your communication, work on your emotional regulation skills, and get to this place where you're very emotionally available with yourself first. If you can do that, then building a relationship is going to be fun. It's going to be easy, and you're not going to have as much fear. So this is why I think this is a huge shift of you getting to this place where you say, I trust myself to handle whatever comes up in this relationship. So instead of this fear of, oh my gosh, will I get hurt again? Is this not going to work out? Is this person going to cheat on me? Is this person not going to commit? Like, we have all these projections, predictions that our brain can do, right? All the fear talk. Instead of that, you want to shift to, I can handle whatever comes up. I can handle discomfort. I can grow through discomfort that shows up in relationships. And no matter what happens, I can create emotional safety for myself. No matter what happens, I can create emotional safety for myself. You have to get to this place because then it's going to allow you to be vulnerable. It's going to allow you to open your heart chakra. Have any of you ever been to like a psychic? When I was in graduate school, it's my first year of grad school, and I was in Portland. My good friend Mariah was visiting me. She was like, "We got to go to this psychic." And I remember we went, and it was in this really crazy part of town. Like you guys know, like there was like bars on the windows, places, and then just out of nowhere we pull up to this random house, and it's this like bright neon psychic sign. But I walked in, and I'm telling you, this woman felt like she did have some spiritual gifts. She felt like she was connected to some higher power of clairvoyance or whatever you want to call it. But she was able to tell me things from my childhood that there's no way that she could have known, like specific details from my childhood. And it was really, really crazy. And then she was able to tell me things about my future, which, spoiler alert, some of those things have come true. It's pretty crazy when I think about that. Um, some of them have yet to come true, but fascinating. I remember she did tell me that I was going to have to wait a long time before I found my person. And in my early 20s, that was not what I wanted to hear. And I did not believe it, but she was absolutely right. It was like a decade later. Anyways, um, what happened and why I'm telling you this story is at the very end, she told me that my heart chakra was closed. She said, "Your heart chakra is closed." And I said, "No way." Like, I did not believe it because I was like classic people pleaser, so giving. Here I am studying to be a clinical psychologist. And I just thought, wow, I'm so empathic. I can feel so much emotion. And here's the crazy thing, you guys, is all of that was true. I was very good at being in touch with emotions and the emotions of others, right? But my heart chakra was in fact closed because I couldn't connect to myself. I had never dealt with my past relational trauma, and I sure as hell could not receive love from other people. So this is why I was constantly seeking out people who needed love from me, but I was not able to open up my heart to actually let people in and receive love. So I know I'm a little woo-woo today, but this is part of learning to trust yourself and me learning how to receive love, learning how to attract people who are emotionally available. A big part of that was learning how to trust myself, was learning how to, if you will, let that heart chakra open, be in touch to my emotions, my needs, start taking up space, right? I had to get comfortable doing that. So maybe you relate to my story. Maybe you go, well, yeah, I'm super empathic. I have this big, big heart. I'm always giving to people. But maybe you haven't gotten to the place where you really truly trust yourself and you're emotionally available to yourself. I know for me, it was a long time before I got there. Okay, the final shift, I'm keeping this episode short and sweet. The final shift that I want you to realize, and this is actually something that has just become more clear to me the longer that I'm in a healthy relationship, um, is I want you to realize this, that love is a partnership. It takes two people. It is not a performance. And I'm going to expand on that. creating a healthy, securely attached, long-lasting love that feels good is not about you performing, being the ideal partner, doing all the right things. It's about you finding that person that wants to co-create a healthy relationship. I think so many of us, regardless of your gender or sexual orientation, it doesn't matter. So many of us have this belief that we have to make our relationships work and we have to show up a certain way and we have to be that good partner. And we don't realize that this is a partnership. Two people make a relationship. You need to have reciprocal relationships. It's not about you doing all the work and putting in all the effort. Relationships are mutual, right? We have to let go of the people pleasing. And instead of trying to earn love, be perfect, instead of trying to repress your emotions and not show up in the relationship, I would want you to focus on prioritizing open communication. How can you express what you really want in the relationship? And how can you express what it is that you need in order to feel emotionally safe? Okay. So instead of what can I do to make my partner happy? How can I keep my partner happy? Oh my gosh, how many of you listening to this, you're like, yep, that's been a core thought in a lot of my past relationships. I know that was me in the past of like, okay, what do I have to do to make this relationship work, right? Because unconsciously have that deep fear of abandonment. But instead of that, let's shift to how can I co-create a healthy, secure relationship with my partner, right? How can we make something that is fulfilling, a relationship that is fulfilling for both of us, a relationship that adds value to both of our lives? How can we build it together? So you're not putting all this pressure on yourself to make it work. How can I build this healthy, secure relationship with someone, right? And if you're looking for a mantra for this mindset shift, I would say it's this. It's I attract relationships where I can show up authentically and build a meaningful relationship with my partner. So really shifting that focus to, I don't have to make this work. I'm not doing it all myself. Okay. Just to review, let's review these 3 mindset shifts we talked about. The first one, I know I went off on this one. It's so core. It's knowing that you're enough as you are and realizing that you have to be your authentic self to attract that partner who's meant for you. When you show up authentic, then you attract the person who's meant for you. Okay. And that you're lovable just the way you are. You don't have to do anything in order to be loved. You're lovable just the way you are. Okay. The second thing is trusting yourself. And we talked a lot about how, in order to be vulnerable and in order to be comfortable with intimacy, we have to become emotionally available to ourselves first. We have to know what it is that we're feeling, and we have to get really comfortable taking up space and expressing our needs, our boundaries, etc. Right? And then for the third mindset shift, I talked about realizing that love is partnership. Healthy love takes 2 people. It is reciprocal. It is a mutual emotional investment. You have to get out of this mindset where you have to make the relationship work yourself. This is a team sport. Relationships are a team sport, okay? It takes both people making the relationship work. I hope this episode was really helpful for you. I love these short and sweet ones that are just to the point. And I'm so excited about this series. We're going to be talking about making 2025 your secure year. And I know on the final episode of this series, the 3-part, I really want to get into what does it look like to focus on identity and daily things that help us embody our securely attached self? Because I know we're all in that mode of the new year, new you, right? And I really believe that we can change our lives at any time. But hey, if you want to mark your identity shift with a new year, go for it. It's a beautiful time to just really, really reset and get super, super clear on who are you in 2025, right? Not just who are you becoming, who are you going to be? What are you going to show up every single day and embody, right? That's what we're talking about. So I'm excited about this series. Stay tuned. It's going to be good. And of course, I'm wishing you so much love and joy and time with your loved ones during the holidays. I know it could be an incredibly busy time. Slow down, take time for you. I know, gosh, I think tomorrow, yes, tomorrow is Christmas Eve. I will be putting out part 2 on Christmas Day. But just know I'm sending you so much love, and I really truly hope you take this holiday time to slow down a bit and tune into yourself. And once again, thank you for the gift of this community. I cannot believe we've hit 500 episodes. You still have time to enter the giveaway. Okay, all you have to do is take 2 seconds, go to Apple Podcasts, leave a written review, screenshot it, DM it to me on Instagram at drmorgancoaching, and you'll be entered to win the prize pack. These are some juicy prize packs, y'all, including a $100 Amazon gift card, Boundaries Are Hot hat, my book, and the Boundaries Queen audio course. So this is like a very juicy prize pack. So don't forget, go leave the review, screenshot it, DM it to me. All right, y'all. Sending you so much love. And as always, I'm wishing you high self-worth and great relationships. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.